All right, moving on. Um, Classic website woes. Okay, a lot of us, since I'm a designer, I hear these all the time. Um, Basically, many years ago, it was much simpler to develop a website. It was kind of a concept and a design. You put up some static content and you host it. But now there's so many components to creating a website, especially with trying to get good SEO and traction from Google. The diagram on the right shows there's so many components, from the purpose to the content, making it fresh, whether it's mobile responsive, whether it's number 9, easy to navigate, it's fresh. Create a blog, and then you have all these social components you need to manage with Facebook and Twitter. It's just really getting hairy nowadays. Okay, and so your options typically are you build your own, or you get your uncle to do it. I can't tell you how many times people are like, hey, my uncle did it, but he didn't finish it, so I need your help. You hire a designer. A lot of the problem with designers, they're freelance and they disappear quickly, or they don't finish the job, or you hire an agency and you look below, you can see there's a considerable amount of cost when you hire an agency, anywhere from $7,000 to $40,000. So we're going to be offering a great alternative to that. All right, so once you kind of get involved in this, there's a lot of issues with building websites. I talked about it a second ago. You have a web designer who doesn't have control, can't necessarily get it from maybe another designer, or you can't get a hold of someone that has control of the files. So that's a problem. Can't find where it's been registered. I've heard that tons of times. You have an issue with the host. You're in a contract, you can't get out. You can't transfer, et cetera, et cetera. Websites take a while to build sometimes, especially when you try to do the HTML portion. Raw hand coding is hard. It really is. Or you have a lack of money to hire a full-blown designer. Or you're technically challenged. You just really can't learn the HTML. I learned my own many, many years ago, and I can't keep up. There's so much changing. I need to get high programmers to my team to keep up with all the changes. Then you could do tons of comparisons with all your options. There's a lot of options for building a website on the easy way with page builders. But even number 6, a lot of the page builders now have a lot of limitations because they're built on old technology, and we'll do a discussion on that, the difference. Okay, so visitor site stats. The right-hand side, you look at a stopwatch, there's 10 seconds. That's how much time you have on average a user comes to your site. That's the people that typically glance at it and leave. So you don't have a lot of time to get their attention. It's so key that you make it clear and concise. And then if you do have a shopping cart, 99% will not buy the first time. But good news is that the people that do leave, a majority of them have intention of coming back. So the key is you need to nurture some of these people over time and use some email capture. Okay, moving on. Let's go into some best website design principles. There's some key things if you want to keep in mind when you're building a website. Purpose. You want to cater to the need of the user. You want clear communication. Start with an outline, revise. That's what I do with all my clients. We start in Google Docs, and thousands and thousands of words get cut down in half if you start with an outline. Then when you start building it, you really want to focus on typefaces that are really easy on the eye, such as Arial, sans serif, or Donna. The thinner fonts are more trendy now. And in terms of colors, there's kind of a science behind it. You want to choose complementary colors. If you Google color wheel, you'll be able to get information on that. It's usually 2 or 3 complementary colors you want to go with. Then your images, you want to optimize as much as possible. JPEGs, you can take a number and optimize it probably about 20%. It's a number 80 when you optimize it. GIFs are really made for few colors. A lot of its icons and things will be much smaller than a JPEG when there's a few colors. and PNG is made for more transparent around the image. And then a lot of times you can take 500 words, put it together in an infographic, and that will get your word out much faster. Next, search engine food. You want to pepper your content with keywords. You want to go no more than, let's say the word is pet supplies. You don't want to put that more than 3% on the page. A lot of people stuff it to try to get search engine rankings, and they know you're gaming them. Build the framework in grid. That's basically, you want to use Bootstrap, or there's some there that are kind of broader, more mobile responsive. Okay, that's better. Yeah, thank you. And then you want to add lots of buttons all over the website, and when you put your email on the page, you need to hide it with JavaScript. Otherwise, the scrapers will come out and scoop you up and send spam the hell out of you. So there are ways to hide the email with JavaScript or in a form. And then, of course, load time. We'll get into that. Faster load time, the better. That's really important, and a lot of people miss it. They just forget to do it. Here's a demonstration on as load time decreases, your conversion rate increases. So as an example, if you go from 8 to 2 seconds in your load time, you can boost your conversion rate by 74%. So that's pretty astounding that it goes up that much. But remember, the people's patience is not a lot. You only got average 10 seconds, so you really, really want to work on that, getting it more optimized. And some sample ways to do that, we actually have that on our platform, is some website caching. Will definitely speed things up. Minification of your JavaScript or CSS files. You want to optimize those images as small kilobytes as you can. PNGs can get really big, so be careful. And you want to use proper HTML5 coding, helps it render faster. And there are some websites out there where you can verify your HTML coding is proper. And then you can use a content delivery network for some of your assets, such as you can push your CSS or JavaScript onto another server, and actually makes the website load faster. Okay, so there's kind of websites are going one of two ways. The old school is kind of on the right there with multi-page. You have 5 to 20 pages, and your menu is just way too long. Or you can do more of a one-page website, which is the long scrolling and things like that. A lot of people kind of push back against that, but in time, people start to favor it. They really do. And it really helps the publisher, website owner, get a more uniform message across. And so here's a statistic on it. This is kind of like the new fold. Everybody's worried about, hey, keep everything above the fold, but it turns out that 65.7% of the people, the engagement is below the fold. And that's because websites are getting longer, and it's not, all the menus are not stuffed up at the top. All the information is a little bit lower. So you can focus more now on the bottom, putting the right content, and stop stuffing tons of information above the fold. You just don't need to do it. So the idea here is, as people scroll, you want to tell them a story. People love stories. And it takes maybe 2 or 3 revisions of your website to do it, but you really want to work on a message that turns into a story as you go down. Okay, advantage of a one-page website, it controls the user experience. If you plan out what you want the visitor to see, the order that they see it, and the way they present, you'll have a much better flow of your sales process and more likely to close. It makes it more modern and concise. It forces you to be concise, and it's being expected more and more. You know, if you take a 10-page website and you try to force it into one page, it's going to be way too long. So it really forces you to shorten and be concise. They're also usually more interactive. You typically have on these one-page websites rollovers, animated fades, slide-ins, things like that as you scroll. There's also less management usually. You don't have to manage 10 pages, you manage 1. And they're easier to test for mobile responsiveness. All right. So that's your basic principles. There's tons more to go over, but I'm kind of trying to take a broad stroke on 5 different things here. And people love to learn about landing pages, but people are getting a little bit loopy over them. So landing pages are typically, real specific to an ad that people come from, or a specific keyword. And conversion rates are higher because it's based on around a specific keyword. You can have hundreds of keywords in your business, and you're focusing around that targeted set of keywords. It's all about greater conversion, and basically you increase your or can double your money easy with proper landing page. Okay, so here's the best technique to do. Key to being rich. Quickest way to double your money is fold it over and put it in your pocket. I had to add some humor here. So I'm going to take out a little bit of seriousness that I found that last night online. I figured I'd put on there, and it's a little bit made me laugh. So I wanted to put it on here and break it up a little bit. Okay, so getting into a little more seriousness. You have to, like I said earlier, you've got less than 15 seconds. Sometimes average is like 10 or 12, I was mentioning, of time. So you have to be focused. You're only going to be on there a very short time. So the focus center around keywords that are a little less competitive, trying to get the words that have the highest amount of searches. You're not going to rank unless you have a really big advertising and keyword budget to push it out. So do some keyword research, try to find stuff that definitely get in the top first page of Google. You want simple and obvious writing. If you only have a few seconds of the time, do you really want to spend it all on one feature? So, think about really making each feature real concise. You just don't have a lot of time. A lot of pages are just way too busy. So go for the clean design. Have an eye for contrast, plenty of white space, because white space is where the eye rests. If you have too much content, more than 60%, 50% of the page, there's no place for the eye to rest. And go for clarity. And then as you go down the page, you want all kinds of calls to action. Make it really clear of what the person will get when they click on that button. Okay? Whether it's a white paper or free trial, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so here's some elements of a landing page. Nice bold, number 1, bold headline. Big, nice looking. 2, a secondary sub-headline. And a 3, short, brief content. And number 4, I would say put a testimonial on there for sure. That's third-party verification. And then 5 is going to be, in 6, or your call to action. Sense of urgency, you definitely want. Typically, that button is red, is pretty much converts the most, but it kind of depends on your site color. But red has been known to pretty much convert the best. Number 7, create a really short menu at the top. Do not have more than a few links. Not a typical 10-page website, not a bunch of subheaders, sub-menus. Short and concise, and put the rest at the bottom. Privacy policy, about, put that on the bottom a lot of times. And number 8, people want images and videos, so put it front and center there. And number 9, do not go full screen. It's too broad. Go about 1200 pixels wide, 1150s. Typically, screens are definitely bigger, but it's too hard to read when you go too broad. Sometimes you want your images to go full screen, but at least in the content, in terms of verbiage, you want to stay within about 1200 pixels. All right. So some best practices with landing pages, I'd list them out. Start with a more targeted lead source or keyword, and then send to a targeted landing page, not your home page. So based on the keyword, you're going to have 10 landing pages with calls to action from your keyword research or from your targeted advertisement. Make sure that call to action is everywhere. I talked about. Use directional cues. Get them down the page. Arrows or people looking at your buttons or arrows that point downward or toward the call to action. So go for congruence. All elements should be conceptually aligned with the topic and goal page, and use video. Absolutely, as much as you can, use video. You might have to do some split testing, but video usually does convert better than just images. Okay, shown up to 80% better. Test new ideas with A/B testing. I was talking about A/B testing is also called split testing. Basically, have two pages. The user doesn't know which ones he's going to get, and your statistics will show which page converted the best or got more clicks from the call to action. So that comes out of your statistics. And the statistics will tell you, hey, what did the customer decide? Which one had higher call to action or response rate? Provide a free trial. It's pretty expected now. People always looking for a guarantee. You know what it is in your head, but a lot of times you don't put it. Put it definitely on the page. Simplify that copy as much as possible with bullets, icons, and infographics. You can go to Fiverr.com and get an infographic for $5, $10, and it will really, really help your user figure out what you're selling quicker. And you want to show a preview of your digital goods, just like in Amazon, they show 5 to 10 pages of a book. You want to show a preview of what's in your digital good. Okay, a few more landing page practices. Remove unnecessary content. Be real succinct. Use testimonials for authenticity. So social proof with the icons at the bottom. And segment out by source. You can send, like I said, your PPC, email, social media, organic, and banner traffic to separate landing pages for better matching and measurability. And then put as much as possible your phone and email in different locations. That's definitely in the footer, but in different parts of your site. A lot of times on the top if it's a high dollar item for sure. So we're going to take some questions and we're going to answer, the ones most frequent, a couple of them. So go ahead and put on some questions in the chat area. Okay, a couple people are typing questions. Thank you. Okay, we've got a question from Mike. For the A/B testing, how much variance is best to test between? How do you drive the traffic in the first place to the A/B testing? I think when you say variance, you mean what do you want to change on the page, I believe you're saying. Yeah, you definitely need a lot of traffic to do some A/B testing, and you want to start as broad as possible. So typically, you want to try one page versus another rather than one button versus another. But you'll need a few thousand hits per month to do some page testing to get a real winner, because you might get some false positives until you get enough of your sample set of users. And driving traffic, I mean, we could do a whole nother webinar on internet marketing. And so honestly, the quickest way and the most productive typically is to pay for words on Google. I know it can get costly, but it gives you an answer faster because people search dog treats. When you use the keyword dog treats, you might use something else, but when you have a landing page around dog treats and they came because they were searching for dog treats, and you test page 1 against page 2, you'll get better results because they weren't random people that might have been searching dog training. So when you do get a result, and you figure out which words are best from your A/B testing, then you can start doing some organic marketing around those words because you found out quicker from Google when you paid for ads. You'll get more random traffic from organic, but at least you got your results better from a tighter source. Okay. Any more questions? My God, there's tons on my list. I'll get to you. I'll maybe then. I run into them every day, but typically it's ones with tons of white space and visuals. So we'll actually probably have a report on that sooner or later. So, all right, Mike, thanks for your questions. We're gonna move on. Going into the best and worst of WordPress. Now, I've heard of WordPress. How good is it? How bad? I use WordPress for many, many years, and it's a blog. It's built in, ready to go. It's originally created as a blogging platform. Has a lot of capabilities, but it's kind of starting to be what I call bloatware, where it's got too many features. And what's happened is as you get all these features, it's harder for people to use because 80% only wanted the basic features and 20% wanted all these extras, and then the 80% of people get lost because there's so many features. So that's an issue, and blogs aren't as popular anymore. Yeah, you have RSS feeds, et cetera, but websites are more around pages and external content and social media. So it's not needed as much anymore. It still has a lot of great features though that we actually leverage. So there are security holes you need to talk about. I'll get into it in the next few slides. I don't want to get ahead of myself. And another benefit is it has lots of plugins. So if you want to add an event calendar, video gallery, Twitter feed, whatever, there's lots of plugins for it. But you got to beware. Most of them are not maintained because they're free. So as WordPress gets better and comes out a new version, they break. And they break your site. Sometimes now WordPress is updated automatically, so your site might break without you knowing it. The plugin in your site is not updated. So be real careful. It definitely has its benefits, and we'll kind of go over that here. But some of the drawbacks are it's a high learning curve because it's not drag and drop. Okay, for building a site, and there's tons of features that you can get lost in, which hence bring a lot of slower load time. So WordPress has gotten a little bit slower in time. They're a little bit better than last year, but they definitely have a lot of bloat. It's very hard to customize the CSS of your themes. When you download themes and things like that, designers that build them just have tons and tons of CSS, and going in and editing a color of a font, you can just spend forever trying to find it. 1,000 lines of code. Number 4, do not necessarily pick the most complex theme for that reason. You have to spend a lot of time figuring out where to customize something, and you just kind of get lost. And the more complex the theme, the longer it takes to load. Okay, so don't necessarily pick the most with the most features. And number 5, I talked about this a minute ago. The outdated problem is as WordPress gets new versions, your theme or plugin can get outdated and can break because you didn't get the most recent version. So you have to be real careful with that. You just watch. Sometimes getting a paid plugin or theme is better. And number 6, the plugins. There's thousands and thousands of them, and I was talking about it a minute ago, but too many of them will slow down your website because it adds tons and tons of JavaScript typically, and if you're barely using the plugin, you're still loading the JavaScript every time someone comes to the site. So literally, I would slow. My sites used to get really slow because I had dozens and dozens of plugins. So I learned the hard way not to do it. So you have to disable a plugin to make it stop loading the JavaScript. Don't just let it sit there. Maybe disable or deactivate it. And then 2, I talked about the update problem, make your site break. And then lastly, this is a big problem. In fact, since I didn't maintain my WordPress, I had a security breach in my server, my website, a long time ago. And it took a while to get rid of. And so that happens because it's so prevalent, WordPress, and it's open to hacks and holes unless you hire get a certain plugin that you can purchase or a security system like that we have to prevent that. So that is a problem. Okay, getting into we kind of talked about plugins. Sorry, I got kind of a double on here, so we'll jump to the next one. If you're going to use WordPress, use a child theme. On doing any code customization, make sure you can create a child theme first. If you don't do a child theme, any custom code in that theme will get lost when you do the parent theme update. Okay, so it's really easy to create a child theme. You probably have to Google it, but you turn off your comments if you ever do WordPress. Otherwise, you get tons of spam. I have 140 comments on this one website, and we haven't even barely launched it. It's crazy how much spam you get. Get Google Captcha on those forms. And number 4, get the code adjustment to prevent WordPress from double optimizing your images. If you reduce your file size by 20%, it will again reduce it to 20% on upload, thinking that you didn't optimize it. So there is a code adjustment that won't double compress your JPEGs. Okay, and that was, a few years ago, I was like, why is this happening? Why does my picture look worse when I upload it? And because I already optimized my JPEG, it was again. It just assumes most people don't. Okay, so that's WordPress. I don't want to talk about it too much, but any quick questions on WordPress? All right. No questions, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Some SEO and secrets. Without good SEO, you're nowhere. Great picture, man, in the middle of nowhere. Gas tank, it doesn't work. So, you billions of websites. So if you don't do some SEO, then you're nowhere. All right, so the landscape is on the left here, you got on-site SEO, which is developing it, the design of it, the content, if it's mobile responsive or not. And on the right is off-site SEO, news, creative, conversations, social, and citations. Citations are people doing reviews and things like that. And that's 70% of what Google's formula about, we don't know for sure, is the off-site SEO. All right, so then the ranking signals, there's 2 main types. On page accounts for about 30% of the search engine formula I was mentioning. And if you break it up into a pie, you basically break these 8 different sections. Link popularities, most of it. Anchor text of your external links, 21%, and domain trust, 24%. Around there, how long the domain's been around, how do other people rank it, and on-page optimization is kind of what we're going to focus on a little bit because there's so much to talk about on off-page. Okay, and there's a few other factors. All right, on-page SEO tips. User-friendly SEO URLs. Put the keywords in the URL. Avoid ugly URLs. Okay. Start your title tag for each page with the keyword. Add modifiers to your title. Best guide review. A lot of people, like searching dog treats, will search best dog treat or dog treat review. You want to wrap your blog post in an H1 tag. Wrap your subheadings in an H2 tag, which is a little smaller. Drop the main keyword in the first 100 keywords of your content. Use responsive design for sure. Update the content frequently. Site speed. Make it as fast as possible. Site stickiness. You want people to stay on there long, and the way Google figures that out is if people are searching on Google and they click link 3, site 3, they come back to the Google, that same page, before clicking number 4, and Google says, all right, how long did it take them to come back to our page? If it's short, then you don't have a very sticky site. So they have a very clever way of figuring out how long they've been on your page. Okay, so you want to work on watching the amount of time they spend on your site and increase it. Okay, title and snippets. This is what shows up in a Google search page, as you know. The title in blue, show them your HTML title tag, put in a keyword, no more than once, maybe 2 keywords, and then the content below it, 2 sentences, is typically from your meta description tag. Sometimes they take it from various parts of your pages, or they take it from DMOZ Open Directory. The meta and title tag should have a good rate of 3% or more. And you can experiment with, you look at statistics and start changing that. When you show up on Google, you want to experiment and see what works. Okay, for links, it used to be quantity, now it's quality. So quality metrics, when you get links from other sites, you want a high domain authority. Free tool from Moz, it's called Open Site Explorer, where you can research how valuable other sites are. The higher the domain authority, the better the link power or juice, they call it. It used to be called PR in Google, but not anymore. That's on. There's 2 types of links, follow and follow. So whoever's sending a link to your site, they'll tag it follow or non-follow. And most is non-follow. All right, I'm going to quiz you guys. Here's the question. The first person to respond gets it right, gets 3 months of hosting. Okay, the question on the next slide is going to be about links. I wanted to see if you guys know this. It's not from the presentation yet. I didn't go over it. But here's the question. What type of words should comprise 70 to 75% of your anchor text links on external websites? So what type of text goes in between the hyperlink tag? What will the user see? What type of link? See if anybody knows this. Give you 3 seconds because otherwise you're Googling it. Superlative. Ooh, superlative, meaning best, better. That type of superlative, I believe you mean. That's a good answer, but it's not correct. Got a couple more answers. Keywords, no. See, that's the old school. Keywords with superlatives in it, etc., etc. Guess what the answer is now? Because people were trying to game Google a year or 2 ago or more, and they said, all right, Google had to come up with a new algorithm. So what is natural? When someone really creates a link to your site, what are they going to type? They're going to say, Dog Treats Inc. They're not going to say, get the best dog treat. They're going to just say, here's the company I'm talking about. The brand, 78% is the brand name. The click here is going to be Dog Treats Inc. or Snaplytics Inc. or Acme Inc. They're just talking about your company. And so it's natural. That's what Google's looking for, and that's what you need to do. 78% need to be your brand name. And then you can start using keywords in the other 10 or 20%. And then room for superlatives or click here or things of that nature. And then if you're creating a link from another site, you want to use follow and non-follow. But the key to the whole thing is try to think like Google. Otherwise, if you try to think like a marketer, you'll try to feel like spamming, and they pretty much figured out almost all the tricks. Okay, so you got to have a natural link growth first month, few links, next month, double those links, then you get up to, just whatever's natural, 30 links, 50 links as you go over time in months. If you have hundreds of links the first month, you really think something's probably wrong. Keyword density is too high, too many keywords, over 3 or 4% on a page. Broken links, people forget about their links. They need to have a going out on the internet. Duplicate content's a problem where you start doing blog posts all over the internet, the same content. All right. Now, what's really important now is speed. I was talking about. Google will, give you better rankings with faster site. Over 60% of traffic is mobile now, so make sure that it's a responsive site. Google will filter out the non-responsive sites now. Better page load time, better indexation, and use the compression and caching we were talking about earlier to speed up your site. Okay, now here's the hardest thing when you launch a business, you start doing tons of SEO, is you get all these people coming to your site. The revenue is just not immediate. You have to realize that it takes 7 to 11 touches before someone typically buys the purchase. So you got to create an awareness. Then there's interest as you drip on them as they come back to your site. Then they start comparing and doing consideration. And you really takes time. So that's the biggest frustration with new businesses is they think, hey, I brought tons of people to my site. They should buy right away. No, they're just getting an awareness, unless it's a really low dollar item. Must be aware that your cost of marketing is going to be really high. Your ROI will increase over time if you're diligent with your targeting efforts. So absolutely make sure you turn on retargeting in Google AdWords and other places like Bing, okay, in your ad spend. But we can get into that and maybe in another webinar. There's a lot to cover in that. All right, here's a couple resources. I'll leave this up while we wait for a few questions to come in about SEO. SEO questions. Okay, no questions from the audience? Here's one question. How do you know if your SEO is effective? Question. Well, it's all about analytics. There's some decent analytics packages. We have one that's incredible. You own the data. So when you analyze your data on your analytics, it'll tell you what words typically convert. You really want to create what you call goals in your analytics so that it will tell you what is converting and what's not. So goals is the key in your analytics and get better ROI. All right, so we'll move on to the Battle of the Builder Bulge. I'm sure some of you have seen the ads on Super Bowl, in fact, with Wix versus Squarespace, things like that. This is what's new is all these page builders definitely beat WordPress. WordPress has a few page builders, but they're just a little archaic. All right, so So that's in the WordPress one. They're typically what I call pseudo drag and drop. WordPress themes and builders typically conflicts with the theme. You might get bugs, things like that. It's very JavaScript heavy, man. I mean, my browser used to block up all the time when I use some of these WordPress page builders. Nothing easy to use. I could almost do it faster, just HTML, because I knew HTML, and they weren't actually what you see wasn't what you got. So you had to make lots of round trips from the designer mode to the live mode because it was different visual experiences. It wasn't true to the real way the user would see it. So I stayed away from them after a while, and I get really frustrated. So there's drag and drop site builders out there like Wix and Squarespace, and yeah, they may be easy set up, but and they have lots of templates, but they're not always easy to use. I get all kinds of complaints of people like, it's not mobile responsive, or there's layout limitations. I can't move it here, or I can't change the big image at the top. I'm stuck with that. And if I switch templates, oh my God, I can't even switch templates. I have to copy and paste the content to my new template, and I can't even create one from scratch. I have to use a template. So, and typically their code is a mess. It's based on technology 3-4 years ago. It's heavy on CSS and not heavy on good design and responsiveness. So I stayed away from those efforts. Here's a comparison. We're going to talk about Wix, Weebly, and Squarespace, the biggest ones. They all have site builders that are pretty much drag and drop. Squarespace is drag and drop to a limit. You just can't put it exactly where you want a lot of times. Only 2 are mobile responsive, us and Squarespace. So you won't be able to see it properly on a mobile phone on most of them. Site-wide style changes. If you want to change the header on 10 pages to green, you can only do it on Weebly, Squarespace, and us. Forget Wix. And then templates. In terms of templates, they all have website templates to start with. That's the key. But switching your template's a problem, especially with Wix. And I think that should be an X on Squarespace. Templates is an issue. You can do it, but you can't. Moving the content over is just a pain. You can't. You have to copy and paste. So make your own template. That is the key, I think, to the long run. Being a power user is, hey, I want to make a perfect landing page by dragging and dropping specific elements. You can only do that on our platform. And Squarespace, you're very limited unless you start going into the code. That can get a mess. And as soon as you do that, you lose support. You tangle with it, we can't support you on this. We don't know. You're probably the problem when you start customizing. So, when you dig deep, there's really issues with these platforms. And in terms of SSL, Google, I didn't mention this, but Google doesn't require, but they'll give you more if you have an SSL, HTTPS on your website. And we offer that on all our plans. Weebly does not. Website caching, which will speed things up. Wix and Weebly, don't do it. Facing us, do it. And the starting price for these platforms are all about the same, but we're considerably less when you talk about all the features involved. Okay? And the problem with Squarespace at $12 is they actually want, if you start selling things without their higher platform, they'll charge you 3% of sales. So that can turn into a nightmare quick. That's on top of your credit card. So your credit card will cost 3%, and then add 3%. That's 6% gone. Okay, so I just want to post this. We were looking for some reviews, and on Yelp, we found Squarespace. Look at that, 12 reviews. They got 2 stars. Terrible. This lady, Katie, said that they're ridiculously expensive, impossible to receive responses from the customer service department. They make excuses. You can maybe get them at 3 a.m. Took her 2 days to get a response. So you got to be really careful with these companies that are just, they turn into bloat after a while. So anyway, so let's take some questions on website builders. Any questions? Susie, Mike, Chad, Jennifer, Bob, anybody? There we go. Steve, any questions? Okay, so, oh, Susie's typing. Susie. Is you talking about our platform or someone else's? Yes. Yes, ours is 9. 9 on the, well, all those costs are, if you buy the year plan, it's just a little bit more if you buy the monthly. All right, so we're going to do a quick demo. And it's really going to be fast, but you really, to get the power of the thing, you need to watch a demo. So I'm going to speed up here. This is us, our team. These are the executives. We have about 5 other people that aren't pictured, from programmers to marketers, etc. But I'm on the right, Sean. We're in Austin, and we've actually been featured in the news lately. American Genius, Startup Beat, and Beta News. So we're getting some traction here. You guys are hearing about us early. We've been around for about 6 months now. After being a web designer for 22 years, I had to come up with a platform. All right, so here's a couple quotes from these news sources. Snaplytics is the cure for all your website builder woes. American Genius. Pay-as-you-go cloud platform offers fast design from Ian, Beta News. Snaplytics Digital Toolkit offers an affordable tool for creating professional websites and landing pages that developers, and they can get costly. From Startup Beat. So we're excited. We got some press. Things are moving along. The platform is really doing well. But there's 2 ways to build it. We're going to demo one of these, and one is the Grease Lightning build, I call it, which is basically grabbing a full page template and editing it, or actually kind of piecing together rows, template rows to tell a story or to build your site. But that's what all the other ones offer. But we offer the quick and methodical build, which is you grab elements from our library and you bring them over to the page in a very grid-like format, which is perfect for responsive. And that's typically you bring it over pictures, icons, lists, forms, anything you got to think of, galleries, in a real easy way. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and demo the Grease Lightning build. We don't want to take too long. Here we go. Okay, guys, how was that? Just want to hear a quick response. Too long? Looks great? Too fast? Easy drag and drop? Just want to hear a quick chat response. Bob, looks good. Steve, fast. Jennifer, beautiful. Hey, guys, I appreciate that. Go ahead, you're going to keep typing. I think someone else was typing there. Might be easy for you, still hard for you. Well, the nice thing is we do have videos, so you know, um, and you can just pick one template and go from there. So, um, Susie, yeah, I think you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly. Yeah, there's nothing that's 100% simple. But if it comes too simple, you don't end up having enough options. So there's a balance between options and simplicity. Okay, so we are almost through here. Let's talk about concerns potentially. Hey, you guys only been around for a little less than a year. Well, I'm concerned. Well, I've been doing this for 22 years, so we're not new to the ball game. How do I get support? Now we have ticketing system, a knowledge base, lots of help files. And we're just rolling out some video instruction, and we have chat support. If you make it hard to cancel, a lot of companies make it hard to cancel. You can do it in our interface. You don't have to call and fax and send us your signature. We're not going to make you do that. So it's we're here for you. And what if you don't have time to build your site? Well, that happens sometimes. You know, obviously, since I've been doing this for 20 years, you can hire us for some professional services. I'm real excited to build websites again as a builder, doing it by hand, starting to get old. But I love doing it with the builder, and I can get in to do the dirty stuff if we have to get in through the code. All right. So here's what it would cost if you used other platforms. Use Squarespace as a provider and use their site builder with shopping cart option. It's more. It's $26 a month. It's up to $40 a month if you want crazy statistics and if you want SSL on your domain. Heat maps that we offer is offered through Crazy Egg, which can cost anywhere from $9 to $99 a month. If you want analytics with your system or your website, there are free ones on the low end, but it can get up to $50 a month, especially when you want to own the data. You don't own the data at Google Analytics. And if you want to add a membership plugin, when you want to start charging per month, or you want to lock out content based on whether they're a member or not, if you do that with Squarespace, you got to go to MemberSpace, and they charge $49 a month. It's crazy for only up to 100 members, and it can get up to $199 a month. So you're looking at $84 to $388 a month if you try to piece this stuff up separately. And you know, when you first start out at 26 a month, you don't realize that, hey, you might want heat maps and analytics, etc. So we give you a lot of this right out of the gate. That's why people really like us. So we're ahead of the competition. And what we offer are 3 plans. This is the monthly plan, basic, plus, and ultimate. So it's 15, 19, and 27. And for the yearly, it's 9, 12, and 16 if you pay for each front. But the basic has, we have SSD hard drives, secure SSL, you get the drag and drop website builder, beautiful starter templates, free custom domain name. If you buy for a year, we'll give you pay for the domain, unlimited responsive web pages, you got all kinds of social lead capture tools, and there's no fee for having an online store. We won't charge extra like Squarespace. We have a great tool called the Snap Player to break up your video into segments. Or you can get Plus, which adds more visitor tracking, alerts, visitor alerts, real-time analytics that are incredible. You own the data. And we include heat maps. Crazy Egg charges $9 to $99 a month. And we have live big screen reports. It's like a control panel for, hey, who's live on your site. If you you want to bump up to Ultimate, we have some conversion tracking, campaign tracking, and we have A/B testing and lead score coming soon. So great value, absolutely really good price. But since you guys are on this webinar, you're joining us today, we're going to even offer you even a better offer. We're going to give you 50% off if you get the yearly plan. So the yearly plan would be double 52 or double 99, depending on what platform or what package you choose, basic, plus, or ultimate. Okay, but we're not going to offer it. We can't offer this for that long. We'll offer it till tomorrow up till midnight. Okay, there is your coupon code. You can sign up at that link. Coupon code 419 only. It ends tomorrow. 419 only. That's a great deal. You can still get it. That's fine with us, but I really recommend getting the year. And we'll even give you a guarantee if there's any problem 30 days or you have an issue you don't like us, we'll just refund you. It's not a lot of money, so let us know. All right, any questions? Questions? All right, we are going to actually give away after the questions here. How many websites can be hosted on one plan? One website. But let's say you own dogtreats.com and you own dogtreatsforme.com and you want to point those domain to the second domain to your site, we can do that for just a couple more dollars a month. So it's one website per, just like all of them, per package. But if you have dozens and dozens of them, we can talk about a discount, but I don't think you have that many. Good question, thank you. Next. Where are your servers located? They are in the US. I think we're in New York with SSD hard drives, so they are fast, very fast. So don't be concerned about that. Okay, so we're going to move on to, we're going to give away a year of hosting. One of the lucky winners. Okay, we're going to pick a random person. We're going to do Mike. There are two mics out there. No, it's one mic. Mike, you are the winner of a free year of hosting the basic package for free. Congratulations. Go ahead and sign up. The first 3 weeks are free for anybody on the webinar. Free trial, 21 days. But if you want to lock in the yearly great rate, you have to do it within, you just secure your credit card and pay within tomorrow night. Congratulations, Mike. For the rest of you out there, please go ahead and go to snapalytics.com/sign up, get your 21-day trial, put in your credit card by tomorrow midnight if you want to lock in that great 50% off midnight tomorrow. So look around for questions. I really recommend getting out there, getting this. It's really exciting to have a site that you can build in less than an hour. So watch the videos, read the help files. If there's any issues, watch that. We have like 2 or 3 demos like that you just saw. But these are modern sites, man. They're great. They're wide. They're airy. They have a lot of images and icons. Is what people expect, you know. So do take advantage of that offer, guys. Any questions? Remember to go to snapalytics.com to sign up. there are any more questions, Mike will look for you in the system, or when you sign up, do it today so we can handle it. And someone asked, are we getting any more webinars? Yeah, based on kind of demand, we may get into ones with more marketing. We'll get into probably getting started right for people that are having some issues. Like we see top 3-4 issues where people get stuck. We'll have a webinar on that, kind of getting starting right. So I would go ahead and sign up, try it, and by the time your trial's end, we should have we'll probably schedule a webinar for getting started right. That's one of the keys. When you learn that this is a drag and drop by rows, once you learn some of the key elements of this, it'll go much faster. And that is the key is, hey, build it in rows and break up each row into maybe 3 columns. And each column might have an icon. The center one would be maybe your text, if it's a big header text. And people kind of get stuck on menus, so you might want to drag and drop the menu element and play with that one immediately. That's important. Then you go into the interface and you start adding pages into your menu. So if any of you guys have used WordPress before, we actually strip out the bad things and keep the good stuff. And so we use WordPress core. You'll notice what we make a control panel that's much simpler to use. Just your top 20% of your features. So you can get what you want done faster. So I hope that really helped, guys. Tell your friends. We have an affiliate system. Once you guys like it, you can get paid 20 to 50%. 20 to what percent? 50 to, I'm sorry, 50 to 100% the person's first month. You guys want to refer people. We got some people making a few dollars doing that. That's really helpful. It helps pay for your hosting. But this will really save your time. It really will. If it takes you 30 hours to build a site, typically 40 hours, you can do it an hour, 4 or 5 hours easily on ours. The time savings, if you're paying $20 an hour, is $800. So some of you guys make 60, 80 bucks an hour probably. So it's worth more than that. So the time savings and headaches, you just drop so many headaches. Anyway, I appreciate you guys coming on. We'll wait 1 other minute for any more questions, and we'll see you on the inside. Thank you, guys.